So I put him through a 5-day training block. High volume, lots of mountains, lots of climbing. And after day 5, his response in his log was, I got really fatigued on the hills. I could barely have enough power to power up the hills, but I felt great everywhere else. I got to thinking that he's expecting efforts to maybe be a little bit easier than what they should be. And reflecting back at some of his races, I think this is the case, is that I think in racing, he was expecting the effort to be a little bit easier, or to have a good race that the effort should be easier. And that's not always the case. Up here is when we race too hard, where there's diminishing returns later in a race. We started out too fast, too hot, and our performance dives at the end of the race. Down here is the bar that maybe is our comfort level, where we want the effort to feel like. We say in our mind, this is how it should feel, and when it doesn't feel this way, we get stressed, or we get bummed out, or we maybe even decide to quit the race because it's not this low level bar that we expect the race should be or feel like. Too hard, too comfortable. We want to be in between. We want to find that gray area that's in between, that's a little bit harder than we want it to, but you're still able to perform. Maybe more performing from the mind. So this was a crucial training block for him and for me as his coach, for me to realize how I need to coach him for other training episodes like this, but more importantly, as we approach his long ultra racing, to have the talk and to have the coach speak and to have the dialogue to be, it's going to be always a little bit harder than you want it to, but that doesn't mean it's a bad effort. That doesn't mean you're failing. And I always tell my athletes, never confuse difficulty with failure. Every race should be difficult and challenging. But again, if we go too hard, then we're going to have diminishing returns. We don't want it too hard. We don't want it too easy. We want it somewhere in between. And that always tries to trick our mind, because our mind wants to be down here and keeping it comfortable. And we give ourselves the out. We say, oh, this is how it should feel. It should feel down here if I'm having a good race. But if you're having a good race, it's probably up in here. And always remember, the courier embraces the challenge. They embrace what's in front of them. They embrace the situation, the current situation. The more you want things to be different, the harder they will get. The more we give in and embrace the situation, the easier things become. Always be a courier.